Hidden deep within the dense forests of the majestic Trung Son mountain range across the remote and rugged highlands of Quang Tri, Quang Binh, and Thua Thien Hue provinces lives an ethnic community that quietly yet steadfastly preserves their ancient cultural values, the Bru-Van Kieu people. Among themselves, they often refer to their group as Van Kieu, meaning people of the clouds or people of the mountain peaks, a poetic reference to their close bond with the highlands and the elevation of their homeland. Meanwhile, Bru is another designation that reflects local dialects, historical migrations, or geographic distinctions. Regardless of the name used, these communities share a strong collective identity and a deep-rooted cultural heritage. According to the most recent census, the Bru-Van Kieu population numbers over 90,000, concentrated mainly in 3 provinces of central Vietnam, specifically in Hung Hoa District, Quang Tri, Bo Trac District, Quang Binh, and Alui District, Thua Thien Hue. Smaller groups also reside in Laos and in areas near the Vietnam-Laos border, highlighting the transboundary connections of this ethnic group. What makes the Bru-Van Kieu truly remarkable is not just where they live with stilt houses nestled along hillsides and terraced fields lining mountain streams, but also how they live, in simplicity, harmony, deep respect for nature, and a strong sense of community. From village organization and wedding rituals to seasonal festivals, music and dance, their culture reflects a spiritual richness grounded in ancestral worship and reverence for the natural world. With their own language, part of the Mundé Khmer language family, and customs deeply embedded in indigenous tradition, the Bru-Van Kieu remain an essential thread in the rich and diverse cultural fabric of Vietnam. Their story is that of a people determined to preserve their ancestral flame amid the sweeping tides of modernity. Traveling into the mountainous regions of western Quang Tri, Quang Binh, or Thua Thien Hue, one often encounters peaceful villages tucked into valleys or clinging to mountainsides home to the Bru-Van Kieu for many generations. Their stilt houses, roofed with palm leaves and floored with forest wood, blend seamlessly with the lush greenery and the sound of ever-flowing mountain streams. This is the signature landscape of a Van Kieu village. Geographical distribution. The Bru-Van Kieu community is primarily located in Hung Hoa and Dak Rong districts, Quang Tri province, regarded as the cultural heartland of the ethnic group. Mountain communes in Bo Trac and Quang Ninh districts, Quang Binh province. Several communes in Alui district, Thua Thien Hue province. These areas are characterized by rugged terrain, dense forests, limited road access, and natural barriers such as mountain streams and ravines. As a result, the Bru-Van Kieu have long adapted to a life intimately connected to the forest, rivers, shifting agriculture, and the often harsh conditions of the uplands. The Bru-Van Kieu traditionally live in stilt houses, elevated about 1 to 1.5 meters above ground to avoid wild animals, flooding, and to ensure airflow. The house frames are built from local timber, with roofs made of palm leaves or thatch, and walls woven from bamboo or wooden planks. Today, with support from government resettlement and development programs, and increased interaction with the outside world, many families have transitioned to more permanent brick houses with metal roofs. Yet the traditional stilt house still holds a special place in their cultural identity, a space for family gatherings, a symbol of communal living, and a vessel for ancestral customs. The Van Kieu people do not merely live near the forest, they live from it. The forest provides fuel wood, building materials, wild vegetables, bamboo shoots, mushrooms, medicinal herbs, and game animals. It is also a sacred realm, believed to be inhabited by spirits. Any activity involving the forest, whether clearing land or harvesting trees, requires a ritual of permission from the forest or mountain deity. Likewise, mountain streams surrounding the villages are more than water sources. They are places for bathing, washing, and socializing, where children play and the elderly fetch water in the morning. These seemingly humble creeks are deeply woven into the spiritual and practical fabric of daily life. Living in highland regions, the Bru-Van Kieu face a harsh climate, Prolonged rainy seasons often isolate villages, while the dry seasons bring intense heat and water shortages. Steep slopes and poor soil conditions also make agriculture difficult. However, with resilience and deep-rooted adaptation strategies, the community continues to maintain a stable life with a distinct cultural character. In recent years, thanks to government policies promoting resettlement, infrastructure development, and cultural preservation, life for many Bru-Van Kieu has improved. Some villages now have paved roads, electricity, schools, and health clinics. Nevertheless, many remote areas still lack access to basic services, underscoring the continuing need for balanced and culturally sensitive development. Due to hardships and limited access to public services, traditional ways of life continue to predominate. Although the Bru-Van Kieu live in remote highland areas, isolated from the outside world, they maintain a remarkably close-knit and warm community life. For them, the family is not only a place to live, but the foundation for nurturing identity, while the community serves as the guardian of unity and ancient traditions. In traditional Bru-Van Kieu society, the nuclear family consisting of husband, wife, and children is the basic social unit. Each stilt house typically accommodates a single family, although elderly relatives or young grandchildren often live together for care and support. The Van Kieu follow a patrilineal system, with the man as the head of the household. However, women play an equally vital role, not only working in the fields, but also tending the hearth, raising children, and passing on cultural knowledge, such as lullabies, textile weaving, and herbal medicine. Family life is intimately tied to nature. From a young age, children are taught to go to the fields, gather bamboo shoots, fetch water from streams, and collect firewood. These activities serve as lessons in self-reliance, survival, and cultural grounding. Each Bru-Van Kieu village forms a small community, usually consisting of several dozen to over 100 households. The Van Kieu place great importance on communal solidarity, from house building and ritual ceremonies to weddings, land clearing, and harvests. All are carried out with mutual assistance, often referred to as labor exchange or helping the village. Every village has a village elder, a highly respected individual with deep knowledge of customs and strong leadership skills. The elder is seen as the guardian of the village's spirit, representing the people in prayers to deities and ancestors during important rituals. Supporting the elder is a council of senior community members who make key decisions related to ceremonies, marriage arrangements, and communal ethics. In Van Kieu culture, no individual exists apart from the community. It is believed that if one person commits a wrongdoing, the consequences affect the entire village because such behavior may displease the ancestral spirits. Therefore, villagers live with deep mutual respect, avoiding conflict and disharmony. Disputes are typically settled by the village elder before any involvement from external authorities is considered. This communal bond is further reinforced through shared festivals, communal rukon drinking, gong performances, and traditional dances during harvest celebrations or forest worship ceremonies, all serving to bring people closer together. Among the Van Kieu, youth are not only the primary labor force, but also the carriers of cultural heritage. They are taught rituals, drum rhythms, dances, traditional instruments, and their mother tongue. Children grow up immersed in cultural life, hearing folk tales, learning to weave, making baskets, or foraging medicinal herbs with their parents. This hands-on environment is their true cultural classroom, with no need for blackboards or chalk. For the Bru-Van Kieu, the village is more than just a place to live. It is a spiritual universe. Villages have their own sacred boundaries, forbidden forests for deity offerings, holy water sources, and unique New Year festivals. While materially modest, the community rules, moral traditions, and spirit of mutual support create a Van Kieu society that is resilient and deeply humanable to withstand the trials of nature and history. In Bru-Van Kieu life, marriage is not merely a union between two individuals, but a significant event involving two families, sometimes even two villages. It is accompanied by solemn rituals, vows before ancestors, and a belief in spiritual harmony. Each wedding is not just a personal celebration, but a communal festival where people gather to dance, sing, and rejoice through the night. The Bru-Van Kieu practice organized yet free choice marriages. Young men and women meet and court one another during festivals, communal drinking sessions, mountain markets, fire dancing nights, and singing exchanges. When a couple decides they are compatible, the young man informs his family, and formal marriage proceedings begin. The groom's family sends a matchmaker, typically an elder well-versed in customs, to the bride's family to express the intention of marriage. If both sides agree, they consult to choose an auspicious date and start preparing the wedding offerings according to local customs. Traditional Bru-Van Kieu wedding offerings may include a pig or a buffalo, depending on the family's wealth, several jars of rulkun, fermented rice wine, symbolic items such as knives, silver bracelets, traditional garments, or embroidered beads. The emphasis lies not in material value but in sincerity and balance between the two families. In some regions, the groom's family must also present an offering to the bride's ancestors, a gesture of deep respect to her departed kin. Bru-Van Kieu weddings typically last several days and are filled with the sounds of gongs, dances, and joyful singing. The entire village gathers to celebrate, from elders to young children. The morning is dedicated to the formal ceremony. A village elder officiates, offering blessings and calling on the ancestors to witness the union. A wrist-tying ritual may also be performed, wishing the couple happiness and lifelong harmony. The afternoon and evening become a communal festival, where everyone joins in traditional dances, plays musical instruments, drinks rice, wine, and sings. The bride and groom, dressed in traditional attire, exchange betel leaves, smiles, and heartfelt glances. In some areas, after the wedding, the groom must live with the bride's family for several months to years. This is both a way to repay the bride's parents for raising her and an opportunity to support the maternal family. After this period, a second, smaller ceremony is held when the couple officially moves to the groom's homia ritual called the wife escort. This reflects the careful consideration and mutual respect between the two families. The Bru-Van Kieu place great emphasis on loyalty in marriage, with clearly defined rules on marriage age and family lineage. Incestuous marriages are strictly forbidden. In cases of infidelity or violations of marital norms, the offending party may be required to pay reparations in the form of buffaloes, rice wine, or perform a ritual apology to both the community and the ancestors. Although considered a minority group, the Bru-Van Kieu maintain progressive and humanistic marital values, prioritizing respect, fairness, and genuine intention. Today, many Bru-Van Kieu weddings incorporate modern elements like Western-style suits, wedding dresses, photography, and cake cutting. Yet what remains treasured are the ancestral permission rituals, wrist-tying ceremonies, communal rice wine drinking, and festive gatherings under stilt houses, beside campfires, to the rhythm of drums and traditional flutes. Despite the passing of time, Bru-Van Kieu weddings continue to be heartfelt folk song shumble, yet profound, where love transcends individual bonds to represent the unity of bloodlines, families, and the entire community. If marriage marks the beginning of life's journey, then in Bru-Van Kieu culture, a funeral is a solemn and sacred farewell, signifying a person's transition from the earthly world to the spirit realm. The Van Kieu believe that death is not an end, but a homecoming to the ancestors, where souls continue watching over their descendants from the beyond. To the Bru-Van Kieu, humans are part of the forest, of the vast cosmos. When someone passes away, it is not only a family's sorrow, but a major event for the entire community. The departed soul becomes a village spirit, continuing to exist in the invisible world, capable of blessing or troubling the living, depending on how the person is honored. Thus, funerals are not only expressions of grief, but essential rituals to help the spirit depart peacefully, free from earthly attachments, and not disturb the living. Stages of a traditional funeral. Bru Van Kieu funerals typically follow these basic stages. 1. Mourning announcement and spirit calling. As soon as a person dies, the family notifies the whole village. A respected elder or ritual specialist is invited to perform the calling of the spirit, informing the soul that it's time to return to the ancestors. Family members begin to wail and sing farewell songs away to express love and help the spirit hear their voices. 2. Ritual washing and dressing. The body is bathed with spring water, symbolizing purity, then dressed in new clothes, often traditional garments, sometimes beautifully hand-embroidered, a preparation for the journey to the other world. 3. Building a funeral hut and selecting a burial site. The dead are not buried near homes. Instead, the grave is placed in a separate area, usually a dry, open place near the forest, away from the village to avoid the spirit's return. A funeral hut is built from wood, bamboo, or rattan, with a simple thatched roof, but made with care. Some families decorate it with patterns, carved wooden statues, fabric columns, bead strings, clothes, and personal items that belong to the deceased. 4. Burial ceremony, solemn and complete. Before burial, the family offers prayers, hoping the soul will be welcomed by the ancestors. In some areas, a sharing of belongings ritual takes place, placing items like bowls, small knives, clothes, and even food in the gravito help the deceased in the afterlife. After the grave is filled, villagers gather near the funeral home, drink ruor kan, and recount stories of the departed away to preserve memory and strengthen community bonds. The Bru-Van Kieu avoid saying unlucky words, laughing loudly, or quarreling during mourning. Pregnant women and newborns are not allowed near funerals. After a death, the family refrains from singing, dancing, or hosting festivals for a certain time, usually from 3 months to a year, to show respect for the deceased. After about a year, the family organizes a grave leaving ceremony, also called grave offering. This is the formal farewell to the soul, wishing it peaceful rest and detachment from the earthly world. This ritual involves food offerings, music, dancing, playing traditional flutes, and building a more beautiful funeral hut. It is a time to honor the deceased's memory, teach younger generations about ancestral values, and uphold the moral principle of gratitude to those who came before. Today, many Bru-Van Kieu families have adapted to modern practices, filing death certificates, using vehicles for funeral processions, and burying in public cemeteries. Yet, what's admirable is that they still preserve the spiritual essence, offering ancestral wine, recounting stories in their native tongue, and rebuilding traditional funeral huts as symbolic bridges to the unseen world. In the world of the Van Kieu, funerals are not merely endings, but a new chapter in the communal book where the soul merges with the ancient forest, the whispering wind, and continues to live in the hearts of those who remain. The Bru-Van Kieu people do not simply live in the forest, they live with the forest. They believe that every tree, stream, mountain peak, or stone is home to a spirit. This belief is not merely religious, it is a profound connection that ties them to nature, to their ancestors, and to one another. From small family rituals to grand village festivals, every event is steeped in sacred meaning and humanistic values. In the Bru-Van Kieu worldview, all things possess spirits: the forest spirit, water spirit, rice spirit, fire spirit, mountain spirit of in rocks, logs, or ancient banyan trees at the village gate may house spiritual entities. They also believe that each person carries multiple spirits within. When a spirit leaves the body due to illness, accident, or death, the balance is broken, requiring a ritual to call it back. These spiritual practices are essential to maintain harmony between the visible and invisible worlds. Ancestors are seen as the roots of life, the family members of the other world. The Bru-Van Kieu always maintain an altar for ancestor worship in a corner of the house, with incense bowls, beaded strings, and sometimes symbolic items such as crossbows, knives, or small jars of wine to represent protection and authority. Common occasions for ancestor worship include traditional New Year festivals, often at the beginning of the rainy season or after the harvest. Times of misfortune, illness, crop failure, natural disasters, major family events, building a new house, weddings, or naming a child. It is believed that ancestors will witness these rituals and bestow blessings if their descendants live respectfully, harmoniously, and uphold traditional values. Every village typically has a sacred foresta place where cutting trees, hunting, or gathering is forbidden. At the start of the year, the whole village performs a forest worship ceremony to thank the forest spirits for favorable weather, pray for a bountiful harvest and protection from wild animals and disasters, ask permission to clear land for farming in the new year. Offerings often include chicken, pork, bamboo rice, and ruokon, communal rice wine, presented on a bamboo altar under an ancient tree. The village elder prays, sprinkles wine, and lights a bonfire. This is followed by festivities. Elders tell stories, youth dance with flutes, and children play traditional games. This is the largest festival of the year, held after the rice harvest when the granaries are full, the wine has fermented, and the community is ready to celebrate. Each household brings offerings such as sticky rice, grilled fish, boiled chicken, tri-colored rice, and ruokon to the communal house. After the ceremonial rites, the feast and merriment continue late into the night. Elders beat drums, girls dance the lamb, boys play traditional flutes. Everyone dresses in their finest traditional clothes, hair neatly combed, cheeks flushed with wine, and eyes glowing in the firelight. The joy spreads like ripples in the highland streams. Other notable rituals. Spirit calling ritual, Phuomung, performed when someone is ill for a long time without recovery, inviting the spirit to return. New house ritual, offering to land and forest spirits before digging the foundation. Baby naming ceremony, usually held within the first month after birth, including wrist thread tying and giving a beaded necklace. In recent decades, the Bru-Van Kieu have encountered major religions such as Catholicism and Protestantism. Some have converted and attend churches, but many traditional rituals are still practiced: ancestor worship, new rice offerings, the erecting of sacred poles, Kai Neo, and maintaining protected forests. This harmonious blend reflects the resilience of indigenous culture, not erased by new beliefs, but evolving to coexist. Like a stream that winds around mountains, yet always remembers its source. For the Bru-Van Kieu, festivals are not just times of joy, they embody a life philosophy of harmony between humans, nature, and ancestral spirits. Amid the rustic stilt houses, the sounds of gongs during festival season still echo far and wide, like the forest's own song reminding each soul to cherish their roots and carry tradition forward, just as their forebears have done for generations. Amid wild and remote mountain forests, where dirt paths remain muddy and many streams are still without bridges, the Bru-Van Kieu people have lived for generations, relying on manual labor and a deep, enduring relationship with nature. Their hillside rice fields, free-roaming chickens, and dense forests filled with medicinal herbs, honey, and bamboo shoots paint a vivid picture of a life that is both challenging and poetic. A familiar sight in Bru-Van Kieu villages is men carrying axes and women with babies in back baskets, heading together to their fields. Swidden cultivation, slash-and-burn farming, is the oldest and most central mode of production in their economic life. They grow upland rice, corn, sweet potatoes, cassava, peanut crops that are resilient and well-suited to mountainous climates. Though less productive than irrigated farming, it's sufficient to feed the family and trade surplus for salt, oil, and cloth. Before clearing the fields, villagers always hold a ritual to ask the forest spirits for permission and a favorable harvest. After harvesting, a new rice offering ceremony follows, an expression of gratitude and reverence for nature. Bru-Van Kieu men are skilled hunters and fishers, while women gather bamboo shoots, dig wild tubers, and search for herbal medicines. The forest is their living bank, a source of food, income, and sacred space. They use traditional tools like crossbows, snare traps, and sharpened stakes. Knowledge of tracking animal signs and setting traps according to the land's contours has been passed down for generations. As for foraging, they can identify dozens of edible wild greens and herbs, each with its own harvest season. This is ecological wisdom, preserved through experience rather than written texts. Buffalo, cows, pigs, and chickens are valuable assets in every household. Though not yet industrialized, free-range livestock plays an important role for ceremonies, daily meals, and even as a dowry for children. Chickens are used in rice spirit offerings, pigs in wedding rituals, and buffaloes in forest worship ceremonies. The Bru-Van Kieu often reserve the best livestock for festivals, reflecting their belief in honoring spiritual life alongside material needs. Bru-Van Kieu women are renowned for their textile weaving. From raw cotton, they spin thread, dye it using tree leaves or bark, and weave it into skirts, scarves, and bags adorned with traditional mountain motifs. Each pattern carries meaning. Birds symbolize freedom, triangles represent mountains, and horizontal lines depict rivers. Without blueprints, all designs are stored in memory and woven by hand-living oral art passed through generations. Besides weaving, Bru-Van Kieu people excel in making bamboo baskets, knives, axes, woven bags, and other tools for daily use or trade with lowland king communities. In border areas, the Bru-Van Kieu also trade with Laotian neighbors or kin people at local markets. A woven basket might be exchanged for salt, a chicken for some cooking oil, a bundle of bamboo shoots for a hoe blade. They are not accustomed to fixed prices but prefer exchanges based on mutual satisfaction. In this way, trade among the Bru-Van Kieu is both modest and deeply humanistic. Today, many villages have access to poverty reduction programs, forest replanting projects, livestock support, and crop diversification such as rubber and coffee. Some young people attend vocational training or work in cities and send money back home. However, this transition also brings challenges: loss of forest land, limited farming areas, lack of market skills, and growing dependency on subsidies. Many still live seasonally, consuming what they harvest, making it hard to adopt sustainable economic models. Despite challenges, the Bru-Van Kieu are adapting with hard work and a heart deeply connected to the forest. They are learning how to plant certified forests, joining cassava cooperatives, running community-based homestay saw, while preserving sacred rituals, the call of the Ken flute, and family meals around the bamboo fire. Their livelihoods, therefore, are not just a means of survival, but also a way of preserving identity, protecting forests, mountains, and a lifestyle rooted in ancestral seeds sown deep within the highlands. If you truly want to understand a people, sit down and share a meal with them. For the Bru-Van Kieu, a meal is not merely about satisfying hunger, it is a thread that binds the family, a reflection of nature's presence, a vessel of ancestral memory, and a source of simple yet profound life philosophies. Their cuisine is unpretentious, rooted in the forests, mountains, and streams, rich and heartfelt, just like their highland spirit. A signature dish, present both in daily life and festive occasions, is Khom Lam bamboo tube rice. They choose fragrant upland sticky rice, grown on high fields, with plump and chewy grains. The rice is mixed with a pinch of salt, packed into young bamboo tubes, and roasted over glowing embers. The crackling sound of fire, the scent of sticky rice mingled with the aroma of lightly charred bamboo, creates a rustic yet enchanting flavor that is unmistakable. Khom lam is often paired with wild chili salt, grilled fish, or smoked meat. When heading to the fields, a few bamboo tubes of khom lam and some salt are enough to sustain the body and warm the heart through a hard day's work. No festival, wedding, funeral, or village gathering is complete without rukana, traditional fermented rice wine made from upland sticky rice, yeast from forest leaves, stored in ceramic jars and drunk through long bamboo straws. Drinking rulkan is not about intoxication, it is about connection, about sharing songs, dances, and stories. The Bru-Van Kieu believe that those who share a jar of rulkan are bonded like siblings, no quarrels, no grudges. In every ancestral ritual, Ruor-Kan is an essential offering, acting as a bridge between the living and the spirits of the departed. The Bru-Van Kieu excel at grilling food using bamboo and forest leaves. Pork, wildfowl, or stream fish are marinated with wild chili, lemongrass, and forest herbs, then wrapped in banana leaves or placed inside bamboo tubes and slow roasted over coals until evenly cooked. These dishes require no oil or only the natural sweetness of meat, the fragrance of leaves, and the artful harmony of mountain ingredients. The forest offers an abundant supply of vegetables, fiddlehead ferns, purslane, wild betel leaves, rattan shoots, banana blossoms, papaya flowers, wild eggplants all boiled, stir-fried, or cooked in soups with dried fish. One standout dish is sour bamboo shoots, made by fermenting young forest shoots in ceramic jars served with kum lamb or used in cooling broths. Other notable dishes include red bean porridge, taro leaf soup, bamboo braised fish, and sticky rice cakes with mung bean filling, each with its own flavor, but all grounded in nature and crafted by diligent hands. For the Bru-Van Kieu, eating is more than sustenance. It is about remembering roots, strengthening community, and giving thanks to the forests and mountains. Every meal, no matter how modest, includes a portion offered to the ancestors. Each jar of Ruor-Kan is first sprinkled on the earth as an invitation for the spirits to partake. Children are taught early that rice must not be wasted, and feet must never rest on the hearth, for that is a sacred place, the heart of the home, the source of nourishment. Today, many households eat instant noodles, industrial eggs, and drink soft drinks. Yet they still cook kum lamb over a wood fire, still ferment Ruor-Kan in the winter, still gather forest greens at dawn. Some young Bru-Van Kieu students bring with them to the city a bamboo tube of kum lamb wrapped by their mother, or a jar of sour bamboo shoot stew, remind them of their village, their hearth, where food is not only taste, but also memory, love, and identity. Amidst the majestic mountains and flickering firelight of village festivals, the music of the Bru-Van Kieu rises like whispers from the forest, the rustle of leaves, the voices of ancestors, and the echo of human hearts. For them, music is not merely entertainment, it is the language of the soul, a sacred bridge connecting people to each other and to the spiritual world. No festival or important ceremony in a Bru-Van Kieu village is complete without the resonant sound of gongs. Every village usually owns a set of gongs, treasured as sacred heirlooms. These instruments are used in flash, weddings and new rice celebrations, funerals, forest worship, and harvest prayers, and even moonlit nights when villagers gather together. A skilled gong player doesn't need written music. They listen with their heart, feel through their fingertips, and learn through generations by oral tradition. Bru-Van Kieu gong music is not hurried or bustling. It is deep, slow, and contemplative, echoing the rhythm of the forest, filled with meditative and spiritual essence, in harmony with the cosmos. Alongside gongs, the Ken, a bamboo mouth organ, made from multiple tubases, a familiar instrument among Bru-Van Kieu men. Every young man learns to play it, from songs inviting guests to dance and drink, to tender melodies used to express affection to a beloved girl. It is often said, he who plays the Ken well needs no words, just music speaks for his heart. Its long, lingering notes resonate through the night, sometimes as wistful as chimney smoke, sometimes as lively as a rushing mountain stream, but always sincere and profoundly emotional. In addition to gongs and Ken, the Bru-Van Kieu also use bamboo flutes, played during rain, invoking rituals or soul-calling ceremonies, earth drums, created by digging a pit, stretching animal hide across it to produce deep, resounding tones for major rituals, stone chimes, rare and mysterious, believed to be instruments of the gods, used only in sacred forest ceremonies. Each instrument carries not only its unique sound, but also a specific spiritual role integral to the cultural and ritual life of the community. During festivals, The entire village often joins in the Lum Dansa traditional circle dance common among highland ethnic groups. People hold hands, stepping rhythmically and gracefully to the beat of gongs and drums. The Lum welcomes all regardless of age or gender. It is a dance of love, community, unity, and celebration. The Bru-Van Kieu believe, the more harmonious and complete the dance circle, the greater the blessings and stronger the bonds within the village that year. Beyond instruments and dances, the Bru-Van Kieu preserve a rich oral heritage of epic storytelling and folk songs. Village elders often recount legend sheroes defeating demons, maidens climbing mountains for sacred seeds, or tales of the first hen. These stories serve not only to entertain but also to teach moral values, how to love, respect the forest and rivers, and live with dignity and wisdom. Women sing lullabies to their children, gently reminding them to cherish their identity, remember their mother tongue, the stilt house, and their roots as Bru-Van Kieu, those who carry the song of the mountains within them. Today, in cultural exchange programs, community tourism, and regional festivals, Bru-Van Kieu artists bring their traditional performances to the stage. They wear brocade garments in the city, play cannon gongs for tourists, and adapt ancient rhythms to new settings. Though the stage has changed, the soul of their art remains untouched. The raw sounds, mountain melodies, and communal spirit endure. It is their way of affirming culture does not disappear, it simply finds a new voice. Every ethnic group has its own way of telling its story. For the Bru-Van Kieu people, one of the most beautiful stories is told through their traditional clothing where patterns are woven with the language of the mountains, of culture, love, and pride. Their attire may not be luxurious or flamboyant, but it carries a deep sense of identity, enduring beauty, and above all, the skilled hands, collective memory, and spirit of the community. Bru-Van Kieu women traditionally wear dark indigo or deep blue wraparound skirts that reach the calves, paired with tight-fitting short-sleeve tops. Depending on the region or occasion, some blouses may reveal the shoulders or back. What truly stands out is the hand-woven brocade patterns, each carrying symbolic meaning. Triangles represent mountains. Horizontal lines symbolize rivers and streams. Spirals evoke clouds, birds, and forest animals. Dominant colors include black, red, white, and yellow, harmonious, yet not overpowering. Women often wear beaded necklaces, bracelets, and jewelry not just for beauty, but as spiritual amulets to ward off evil spirits. During festivals, they dress in their full traditional attire, hair neatly tied, holding bamboo fans radiating both strength and grace, like the very essence of the highlands. Bru-Van Kieu men usually wear fabric loincloths and short shirts, or go bare-chested, depending on weather and activity. They often carry a dagger and a crossbody bag made of brocade to hold essentials like betel, tobacco, and flint items considered inseparable from daily life. During ceremonies, they wear indigo-dyed shirts with colorful trims, decorated loincloths, go barefoot or wear rattan sandals, and wrap scarves around their heads. Though modest in form, their attire reflects an inner strength, an honest smile, and eyes full of trust in the forest and their roots. Bru-Van Kieu girls start learning to weave at a young age, first spinning and twisting yarn, then moving on to weaving and embroidery. They use traditional backstrap looms, anchoring one end to a wooden pillar and the other around their waist. Sitting on the floor under the house, hands working swiftly while softly singing lullabies or folktales. The weaving process includes spinning, using cotton or fibers from forest plants like rami, dyeing, with natural materials such as bark, leaves, turmeric roots, and ash, embroidering, with geometric and nature inspired motifs, sewing, done entirely by hand to finish the garments. Each outfit takes weeks, even months to complete, often becoming a wedding gift, dowry, or treasured heirloom imbued with the sweat and love of mothers and sisters for future generations. What makes their weaving unique is that no designs are drawn beforehand. All patterns are memorized and passed down through generations. Each thread, each motif carries meaning. In some clans, only women of that lineage can weave certain designs. Some patterns are exclusive to weddings. Certain colors are reserved for funerals or sacred forest rituals. Thus, every piece of fabric is a story, a genealogy written in thread preserved without ink or paper, but carried faithfully across generations. Today, many young Bru-Van Kieu women wear modern clothes, ride motorbikes to the market, and even pursue higher education in the cities. Yet, during festivals, weddings, or homecomings, they return to their traditional attire, looms, and kembe instrumentas if reclaiming their identity. Some villages have established weaving cooperatives that both sell handwoven goods to tourists and train young people in traditional techniques. This is how they breathe modern life into an ancient craft, ensuring that traditional attire continues to live and shine. For the Bru-Van Kieu, traditional clothing and weaving are more than material artifacts. They are spiritual treasures, interwoven with love for the land, the people, and their cultural identity. In a world full of change, each piece of brocade fabric continues to whisper stories of a proud, humble people, deeply rooted in tradition and full of faith in the enduring power of their colors. Amid the powerful wave of modernization, as the boundary between forests and cities begins to blur, the Bru-Van Kieu people find themselves at a critical crossroads. On one hand, they aspire for a better life, to study, to have electricity, internet, and brick houses. On the other hand, they hold tightly to their cultural identity, the sound of the ken, the stilt houses, the traditional brocade skirts, forest rituals, and the folktales their grandmothers used to tell on rainy nights. Once isolated villages now have asphalt roads, concrete bridges, access to the national electricity grid, and mobile phone signals. Many old wooden homes have been replaced by brick houses with tiled roofs. Children regularly attend school and learn how to read and write. Women wear jeans, and men ride motorbikes to work on construction sites or go to the district market. These changes have helped the Bru-Van Kieu escape poverty, gain access to new knowledge, and enjoy better health and improved living conditions. However, these developments also bring cultural concerns. Many young people no longer know how to play gongs or blow the ken. Few remember entire folktales. Traditional brocade skirts are replaced by graphic print t-shirts. Forest worship ceremonies are shortened or done symbolically. The Bru-Van Kieu language is fading, with many children speaking only Vietnamese. Modernization, when unfiltered, risks sweeping away spiritual values. People may escape poverty, but also risk losing their roots without conscious preservation. Fortunately, many Bru-Van Kieu individuals, both young and old, are aware of the importance of preserving their heritage. Some villages have formed children's gong teams, traditional weaving classes, and ethnic language clubs. Young Bru-Van Kieu teachers return to their villages to teach and incorporate local culture into extracurricular activities. In some areas, community-based tourism initiatives have been developed, allowing visitors to sleep in stilt houses, eat kum lam bamboo tube rice, watch traditional lum dances, and learn how to tell Bru-Van Kieu folktales. These seemingly small actions are creating a reverse flow, bringing culture back into daily life, not just for display, but to live alongside. For the Bru-Van Kieu to develop sustainably, their future must be paved not just with concrete, but also with culture, knowledge, and ethnic pride. Bilingual education, combining Vietnamese with the mother tongue, cultural tourism, developing craft villages and traditional festivals, digitization of heritage, recording, filming, and digitally archiving stories, instruments, and costumes. Support for traditional crafts, offering policies to promote brocade weaving, hen making, and gong culture. Cultural exchange, sending Bru-Van Kieu youth to ethnic festivals and cultural fairs to share and learn. These efforts not only help the Bru-Van Kieu thrive in the modern era, but also empower them to tell their story in the sound of the ken, in their attire, in the taste of Cam Lum, and through their radiant smiles amidst the forested mountains. The Bru-Van Kieu may not be a populous ethnic group, nor loud in the currents of cultural change, but they quietly endure like a small stream persistently flowing over rocky slopes, like a forest that remains green amid the vast highlands. Their culture, from clothing, festivals, gongs, and Ken music to food and lalabiasar, all vibrant tiles in the mosaic of Vietnam's national identity. Preserving that identity is not just the duty of the Bru-Van Kieu, but a shared responsibility for all who cherish what is genuine, simple, and beautiful like life itself in the heart of the Trung Son Mountains.